spook easily stung.
Have you ever explored the depths of fear? Have you ever wondered what depravity dwells within the imagination of a storyteller that prompts them to exhume horrors untold and expose those horrors to unsuspecting audiences? Some are repulsed, and some are shaken. However, there are those who are invigorated. So to those demented souls, we invite you to journey inward into the dark bowels of human imagination. Press play, and you will discover what's in the podcast.
They broke into the mall for the wildest all-night party of their lives. But you're never alone. In the Chopping Mall. Chopping Mall. Where shopping costs you an arm and a leg.
And welcome back to another edition of What's in the Podcast, Comfort Flicks 2024, the segment where we talk about the movies we love regardless of box office receipts and critical and audience acclaim. And this is our final edition for 2024. How do you think it's been going so far?
Fine.
Good. I feel the same way.
I got nothing.
Well, I mean, do you feel good coming back to this segment? I mean, this is one we kind of created together.
I mean, I'm just thinking about, like, that was 2020, and it was just,
it was a rough time.
Times have changed, and they've stayed the same.
Yeah.
Oh my God, we have a hurricane coming right now, so
yeah,
I got nothing.
Yeah, hurricane blowing through right like the next day after
in
recording.
24 hours.
In about 24 hours, and yeah, unfortunately, Spooky Empire got postponed because of it, so kind of bummed out about that, but, you know, postponed is better than canceled anytime. Yeah. So, yeah, just think about that. But in the meantime, in preparation for this one, I got to thinking of something that for both of us was kind of a pivotal cornerstone of our upbringing, specifically malls. Malls were a temple of mass consumerism, something that everyone congregated at. It was this place where everyone used to go to.
Yeah, no, that was... The thing is that we didn't have the internet in the way it is now. You didn't have Etsy. You didn't have eBay. Amazon, you bought books from, at best. So you didn't buy things online. You had to go to the store to buy things. The malls had all the stores.
Yeah.
If you're lucky, your mall had the coolest stores.
Yeah, like, depending on like where it was located, it was either one that was heavily populated by mom and pop shops, or they were ones that, like, the major ones that actually had, like, huge chains. And in fact, some stores that we know today, like GameStop, derived from malls that had places like Electronics Boutique.
Or Babbage's.
Or Babbage's, even. So,
I mean, I remember having a new mall opened up right not far from our neighborhood, and we were so excited, but it ended up having, like, no stores that we liked. It had a great movie theater. The movie theater was Chef's Kiss, but aside from a Spencer's, all the stores were, like, higher end stuff, and I'm like, you could already tell that there was, like, this disconnect of, no, the people that you want to appeal to were the teenagers who have so much money. Yeah. And that didn't go well.
I mean, so...
I wonder what happened to that mall.
I mean, so interwoven in the DNA of even our relationship, malls kind of played a major role for us as well.
Our first date was at
Sawgrass Mills Mall.
Yeah, that's a big place.
Yeah, Sawgrass Mills. I had the fortune of living near, like, one of the biggest malls in U.S. Yeah, and we even went back like a couple on occasion. That mall was
a good mall.
Yeah, and a kick-ass movie theater right next to it.
I feel like malls, the cool things about them was finding the random shit.
Absolutely.
It was all about going to a store and finding something random. That magic has kind of gone depending on the mall. Like, some malls have some cool stuff, but overall, the whole market is just... It's kind
of haunting nowadays. I mean, depending on where you go, sometimes they just get... It's either really depressing, or sometimes you're just really shocked to see the ones that are still teeming. In the Orlando area...
there's only two malls.
Two that I'd say are still really active. I mean, around here, the Altamont Springs Mall.
That one works.
And the Florida Mall.
Yeah, but that one's like in the central hub of tourist area, so it's always going to be doing well.
And it even has a hotel attached with shuttle service to the theme parks.
Yeah, so it's kind of a next level. Altamont, for some reason, that one keeps surviving. I don't get it, but that one just keeps going. And I'm not complaining. I'm just saying.
I think it has a good selection of stores. It's very ideally located, and it also has a really good AMC movie theater attached to it as well.
Yeah, I know it has a good theater.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's also, like, within a walking distance of a lot of apartment complexes and stuff. So I guess it's just location.
Yeah.
I used to work in a mall.
Yeah.
The Oviedo Mall, which is
Oviedo Mall is still
it's a weird mall.
It's a weird ass mall.
Weird. Like they got stores in there that make no freaking sense, but yet still exist.
I still kind of enjoy going to it though.
It gives me PTSD sometimes because I mean I got stories from that mall. My favorite story is that when this mall was ran by a very Christian group, and so during Christmas, you know how you have Santa with like Santa's castle,
of course,
whatever.
yeah.
They had a Noah's Ark. So whenever we were dropping off the money at the bank at the end of the mall, we would steal like the stars in the water from the display, and we kept saying we would steal one of the chickens off of Noah's Ark, but we never could figure out how to do that.
Nice.
We were not good people.
Yeah, back in the 80s, malls like popped up everywhere. In fact, hilariously, when we dated, remember that time I had to leave you at a mall while I was doing the matinee performance of the Fantastics?
Oh God, I remember.
Well, hilariously, that mall used to be like the main mall in my area, like when I was really young. But hilariously, another fancier mall called the Fashion Mall was across the street, and that one was kind of a 3-level mall. It was pretty damn swish. In fact, I bring that up because it reminds me of the movie we're talking about today, specifically Chopping Mall. You like how I tied that in?
Yeah, I had to tie that one in.
Yeah, I'm impressed.
The chopping mall that has no chopping in it.
No chopping at all whatsoever.
There's no chopping at all. I get the pun. I get it.
Yeah, we
it's
get
funny.
it.
It's a dag joke, but there's no chopping. I remember seeing the poster for this in like Blockbuster or something.
Yeah.
And thinking, oh, that's one crazy slasher. That's a horror.
Yeah.
That
ain't what it is.
Where's our little friend?
Where's our little friend?
He's over
yeah,
there.
where's our little killbot?
Yeah, little killbot.
Yeah.
The saddest thing is when I purchased this from Shopping Mall, I asked for the gentleman, how much is the killbot? And he's like, what? I'm like, the robot.
Yeah, the killbot.
It's called a killbot.
Yeah, that's what this guy's called. For those who are only
and
listening
I don't know
in,
why this one is trying to do the YMCA, but
I don't know. All right, no, I think he's doing a touchdown. I think he's doing. Well, the killbots had the strength to launch people like over Bannister, so I think he's doing a field goal there. Now, one would say in horror, the most famous horror movie set in a shopping mall is Dawn of the Dead. But I'd say if there's any 80s horror film that perfectly summed up 80s mall culture, and just the 80s consumerist culture, Shopping Mall with Phantom of the Mall, Eric's Revenge as a very close second, which we might do that at a that movie.
Pauly Shore playing the straight man is like the weirdest part of that whole fucking movie.
The fact that Pauly Shore is the least crazy part of that movie is saying something. So yeah, look forward to that in the future. But yeah, Chopping Mall is another reason I wanted to do it, because of course this year we did lose Roger Corman, and Chopping Mall, while not directly produced by him, it was produced through his company. And actually his wife Julie Corman actually took the lead on the major portions of the producings. But even so, this is still a Corman production, directed by Jim Wynorski, who he himself was a Roger Corman alumni, who would also work on Deathstalker 2, among other things. So this film is probably one of my favorite from the Roger Corman catalog, and definitely one that has since... Actually, I kind of think people enjoy this one a lot more now, because it does kind of do a great job being a time capsule and a reflection of a particular age. Yeah, like way better than anything that we could possibly recreate in a nostalgia bait. This one really does feel like a slice. This is one of those
movies that, as much as you could remake it with more like quality effects and all, you're never going to get that mall culture again.
Yeah,
like that was a thing of the... It doesn't exist anymore, so it wouldn't make sense nowadays.
Yeah, I'd say the closest I feel we've come to it, and I think I said this in the Seed of Chucky episode, was the 2019 Child's Play. I think that, to me, that should have been a Chopping Mall remake. I'll say that, and I'll say it again.
I think that was pre-Megan.
Pre-Megan, absolutely.
Pre-Megan. Megan refined that concept and did that.
Yeah. So Chopping Mall started off his life as Killbots, but then they realized Killbots was kind of not a title that really perfectly summed up the movie. And according to legend, someone just poked their head in saying, "Why don't you just call it Chopping Mall?" And they just said, "That's oddly better, in lieu of the fact that, as you mentioned before, there was absolutely no chopping. So with that in mind, let's go. You were already kind of leaning in that direction. Go ahead and give us the full synopsis of Chopping Mall.
A bunch of teenagers want to stay overnight at a mall and do shenanigans, sex, standard issue. However, that was the day that these robots were going to be set to do the security for the very first time. Unfortunately, there is a lightning strike, and as we all know, lightning strikes automatically make all droids go kill crazy. The droids are now murdering everybody because they feel like it.
Yeah, and unfortunately they automated the security as well, so now our hapless teens are now locked inside the mall as well. So they're trapped in there until morning. So it's a survival scenario of who can survive the night type deal. So yeah, now one thing to note about this movie is that it actually does have some pretty heavy hitters in this cast. It has Kelly Maroney, who around the same time did Fast Times at Ridgemont High and also another horror great, Night of the Comet. But it has freaking Queen Crampton, Barbara Crampton herself, and with everything that we've seen her do, this is probably the least Crampton-y performance I've ever seen her do, which is a testament to how versatile of an actress she is. But then you have a bunch of other actors. A lot of them actually were alumni in other Wynorski films. In fact, John Terlesky would actually wind up playing the lead in Deathstalker 2. And he has that wonderful punchable grin kind of face, like that big smug thing, which is just kind of perfect for him. So as we said, both of us kind of stumbled on this one just because it was a box on our shelf at our video store that just looked cool. So when you finally did watch it, what was your reaction to it?
Great soundtrack.
Yeah.
So I'm a Doctor Who fan, so the Killbots reminded me a little bit on the Daleks.
Mm-hmm.
Like the way they move, the automated way they think, and I don't know, they felt like Daleks almost.
Yeah, actually, and that's a interesting comparison. I've heard that the initial design of them was based on this sci-fi movie called Gog. Yeah, and I've seen pictures of what Gog looked like, and yeah, actually the comparison is pretty apt. But yeah, but these droids are these Killbots are actually kind of sassy bitches. I mean, I don't even know if they know that they're doing it, but it's kind of funny how every time they kill someone and they go, "Have a nice day."
I feel like that's programming that they didn't. It's not them. They're not Chopper. They're not R2-D2, who has an animosity to human beings.
Oh, Chopper, that's a bitch.
No, Chopper don't fucking care.
Yeah.
But I feel like that's just an automated thing that's just ironic for them to say.
Oh, yeah. But hard to kill, the thing that cracks me up about this whole movie is the fact that any mall... Now, yes, it's the Galleria Sherman Oaks Mall in California where they shot this at, and that's a pretty nice mall. But I don't know any mall that would ever pony out this much dough for this level of security at all.
Oh, hell no.
You just have to kind of...
Because they pay for Paul Blart over these guys.
I mean, this is the kind of mall that has Mary Warnoff and Paul Bortel from Eating Raoul. And I think they actually are playing their characters from Eating Raoul.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
Which is like, okay, movie.
So there's a restaurant that sells human meat at this mall. Okay,
Maybe that's why you have Killbots being
possibly
security.
But it's kind of wild, like who else popped up in this movie. Now, of course, with this being a Roger Corman film, we even get a great cameo by Dick Miller.
Of course.
And again, as another nice Roger Corman nod, his name is Walter Paisley after his character from Bucket of Blood. And of course, we get Beef pops in this movie. Mm-hmm. Garrett Graham you can tell it was just a day's work, but anytime you have a Garrett Graham pop up in this movie, you're gonna have some wins here. In an anatomical level, this is a base level slasher in terms of just the narrative. You have a bunch of promiscuous teens, doing dirty, and then a killer comes in and they all have to learn to survive. Yeah. I think just the edge of throwing in a bunch of killer robots, I think, is the thing that kind of gives this one a special edge.
You don't have they're robots. They don't have feelings. They don't care. They're just, you're in a place you shouldn't be. We're going to kill you. They're just being completely severe with their programming. And it's not personal. You can't sit there going, "Oh, it's the boogeyman. It's revenge for the people that killed him." No, it's literally just a bunch of robots who don't give a crap.
Yeah.
You can't reason with them. like I would say like the Terminator, you can't reason with it, but these are literally security droids.
Malfunctioning security droids. I mean, they claim to have safeguards, but ultimately those safeguards fail.
The malfunctioning aspect is that there's no safeguards. They're just going to kill you for trespassing.
Kill you? And I'm like going, if they show that they're good with pacification, but yet these things have some pretty lethal ass weapons.
They have lasers.
They have fucking lasers.
Like, wait, where did you come up with laser technology in the 80s? Like,
And
shouldn't NASA be aware of that? Or the National Security or some shit like that?
I've been told, my brother was in the military, and the one thing he actually, a little bit of hint that he gave me is that he actually noted that every bit of advanced technology that has ever been released to the public went through the military first.
I can believe that.
Wait, I could totally believe that. So the idea that
these security droids have lasers, like
pastel lasers.
Like, would they have them before the military? Like, was this like a privately financed thing, and they bypassed the military? Because the military would have to have the lasers first.
Probably, yeah, they would have, absolutely.
But like artificial intelligence, like they have these things can actually run on their own.
Yeah.
My favorite part is when one uses the escalator, and I'm like.
Yeah.
The makers of the droids openly said this thing could not fit on an escalator, so like remove half of it to do it.
Yeah, a lot of times the killbots were they actually apparently had like 5 of them to be used because of course they needed spares because there were a lot of times in the movie where some of them get caught in explosions, and so they had to make sure that they had them on there. But a lot of times they did have to dismantle them in order to get certain shots, such as the shot of it rising up from the escalator.
Which is just funny.
Yeah.
It's funny that the damn thing used an escalator, and like you can tell it's not fitting on that thing.
No, not even close. And yet, I think the flavor of the fact that it's killbots as opposed to just some psychopath running around the mall, I think the thing that
it makes it a little different.
It really does. And there is some surprise around every turn, even to the fact that, those lasers are so powerful that it explodes Susie Slater's head.
Yeah, these aren't just like, I'm going to burn you, it's, I'm going to blow you up.
Yeah, these things even are equipped with C4. Like, there's one point
where
where
they're little, like, military-grade security droids, and it's like, is this mall that important?
Yeah, I know, it's like...
no offense, but...
Did they move the United Nations to this mall?
Yeah. I'm surprised the killbots aren't working for the military. Like, seriously, they probably could have done a better job. But,
yeah, so this movie was shot for about a budget of about $800,000. Jim Wynorski was totally good with this, and he openly said he felt very comfortable making this movie under Roger Corman's banner because notoriously Roger Corman has always been really good at managing a budget and making sure a movie like comes in under that budget. I mean, it's been a known fact that Roger, from what the rhetoric says, the man has never lost money on a picture, like, at all. Like, even when a movie doesn't do well theatrically, he always finds a way to recoup that money, like, elsewhere. He was a very good
businessman.
He really was.
He knew the business and how to make a product that people would buy, but also understood budgets and input to output. He knew it. And
a lot of the things that are commonplace with the kind of stuff that he knew would sell. And in fact, if you watch our Slumber Party Massacre breakdowns, a lot of those elements we talked about are here very much present and accounted for, including the nudity, including the pretty people, including crazy action, crazy violence, and all that stuff. It's all here. But this one, I'm actually going to give it to this one. We do actually have a very game cast who actually seems to be kind of enjoying the ride on this. I mean, Kelly Maroney and Barbara Crampton have openly cited that they actually still had a lot of fun making this movie, even though they did say that the shooting schedule was pretty grueling on this because they had to shoot into the night. Like, they came in when the mall closed, and not only did they have to be done shooting before the mall opened, they had to clean up.
Yeah, it's not just done, but you have to move everything out, and that's the hardest part.
Mm-hmm. And this mall actually had a lot of other movies filming there. Not only did it have that's the other thing about Phantom of the Mall, it also shot in this same mall, but Schwarzenegger's Commando had a whole sequence that filmed out of here. So this was a mall that very clearly loved, where the management really did love having movies filmed there. And
well, they also got the money for it.
Yeah, they did. Well, it also took the time to make new I've never known a mall to have a fully stocked gun shop. Funnier calling it Peck and Paws. Kelly Maroney plays Allison Parks, and she's a waitress at one of the restaurants there, along with Barbara Crampton. She's being set up with pretty much, I think, the assistant manager of the furniture store where they're having their little soiree. And it's one of those adorable romances. It's like normally I'm not a big fan of the love at first sight type thing, but there was something kind of adorable about the two of them.
There wasn't a connection.
Yeah. Of course, I have to laugh about any party where where a pickup line is, "You smell like pepperoni. I like pepperoni."
I mean, you do you know.
Mm. I mean, I like pepperoni, but I wouldn't call it an aphrodisiac.
No, I think it was more of a joke on the fact that they all worked in the malls and they all smelled probably like ass.
Yeah, probably. Well, the one who smells like ass is the one who, freaking smokes. Even with the fact that they had to clean up, there was a lot of destruction that goes on during the course of this movie. I mean, stores are getting demolished. I mean, at the end, an entire storefront gets completely blown up by the tail end of it, and I'm just impressed with the fact that they had to clean up in order to make this one work.
Wondered if people who went to the mall the next day knew, like, hey, this movie shot here, and they had robots going all over the place, blowing up people, and like the idea. I mean, is that a normal thing in California? Because they always are shooting shit in California. It's like, oh, there was something just happening 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember which mall was the one the Terminator 2 shot in, but I remember, I'm wondering if it was the same one, but I do think. But it is kind of cool, the idea that you go to a place and you find out that something filmed there. And it's even...
Oh, I've been to one of their hotels in downtown. I don't remember the one, but they literally had posters on the walls of, this movie was shot here, this movie, this movie, this movie. And I actually recognized the elevators going, oh yeah, I recognize that elevator. Mm-hmm. Saw that in that movie.
Yeah, I think... Yeah, I mean, hell, I think the hotel in LA where we did InvaderCon, I think that's where Halloween 2 filmed, the Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. Filmed where Dr. Loomis was doing his lecture, I think.
Oh,
yeah. I think they filmed that. Maybe, but it is kind of wild when you're doing the Leonardo DiCaprio point, like going, I know that place. Which nowadays, with practically every MCU property, we keep spotting the Marriott Marquis.
Oh no, the funniest one was Baby Driver.
Oh
like,
yeah, it's the Peachtree Center.
It was all Atlanta.
It was all in Atlanta. At least that one was like.
That was definitely
they
Atlanta.
said no. They even said it's Atlanta.
Yeah, well, I appreciated that because I was like, don't say it's someplace, and then we see palm trees in the background, and we're like, that's not Illinois. Thank you, Halloween.
Thank you, Halloween.
But I mean, I can imagine, like, especially in the 80s, that mall was being used a lot.
Yeah, and I do know that mall is still in operation. I actually think it's still
no,
like one of the malls.
I thought it was shut down.
Was that one? The gallery?
I think it was shut down. I mean.
Yeah, let me look that up.
Most malls are nowadays, like, out of all the malls around Orlando, out of all of them, if they're barely alive.
Let me see. Galleria Sherman Oaks. Actually, looks like it's still...
It doesn't look the same if it is still a mall. Because malls all have been changing, too. They don't look the same. They're kind of turned into a little weirder.
Let's see. Let's look at the gallery.
That does not look like it. That's weird.
Oh, well, it's been the 80s. I mean, it's safe to say. I think they've...
Okay, Santa.
Yeah, he kicked creepy Santa.
But, yeah, I mean, I guess it's still there, but it's not. It's a shell of what it was.
It's very clearly not the same as it used to be.
It's not the same thing, like, you know how they redesign those malls.
Oh, yeah, they do.
They make them look all, was it gentrified?
Yeah, gentrified, which is...
hip and everything, and I'm like, y'all, I don't know. I feel like there will be a comeback of the retro mall one day. Some people love that shit.
We do seem to hit those points when people remember how much better things were in certain modes, and I do think we will get back to that point when people remember why we love malls so much. I mean,
the thing about malls were it was a place to meet people.
Yeah.
And there was food there was shopping, there was movies, arcades.
Arcades.
And that was a thing. You went there to be social. The problem is nowadays is that people leave sociability to the internet.
Mm. Yeah.
And don't really focus it on live. Like, friends hanging out together. Like, that's just not a thing. Now it's all about content and ordering everything online.
Yeah, I can understand the convenience of having stuff delivered to your door, but in the end, Amazon, all that stuff was great during the pandemic, but in the end, there's nothing that beats getting your friends together, saying, "Hey, you want to meet up here?" and then meeting up with them, and then you all just
go to the movies, you go to the food court, and you go to the mall. It's like that was a standard issue thing, and nowadays people don't want to go to the movies. Y'all wait for streaming or whatever.
And if you do go to the fucking movies, you goddamn talk, and you goddamn
you're on your phone.
You're on your fucking phone,
and you're being a goddamn cunt. And then you order shit on Amazon because it's easy, and you order DoorDash. You just don't want to go out anymore. Which, again, when there's a pandemic, I get you. Totally.
Yeah.
But now it's like, get out.
Come on, people. I mean,
I'm not saying you have to go to a mall, but fucking get out. Oh my God.
Yeah, but honestly, that's the beauty of the mall, was the fact that it gave people a good excuse to go out and see people, because a lot of times the malls had the stores that accommodated your every single need.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't just about consumerism. It really was about this place where people could congregate and socialize. I mean, I remember a lot of people I met walking through Sawgrass Mall because of all the cool stores that it had there. I mean, what were some of the malls you used to haunt? I mean, what were some of the stores you used to haunt at the mall?
Okay, so when I was young, Spencer Gifts was a big one. Now, this was before it was 90% pot-based and
porn-based.
Porn-based. It was the Hot Topic that is now. Like, what Hot Topic is now, that's what Spencer Gifts used to be.
Mm-hmm.
So, there, Suncoast, Motion...
Oh,
Suncoast.
Baby Suncoast.
Suncoast was good. Arcades, all the time.
Yeah.
Tilt, I think, was one of the popular ones.
Yeah, we didn't have a Tilt, but we did have a really good arcade in one of the other ones that I used to go to.
Any bookstore.
Yeah.
That was the coolest thing, was go in the bookstore, you hit that young adult section, and there was your Fear Street, there was your, whatever you were going for.
Yeah, we had Books A Million in ours.
Books A Million,
Walden Books.
Borders.
Yeah. B. Dalton's.
Scholastic had its own bookstore.
Yeah.
And this was the time, this is in the 90s, guys, so books were cool. Teenagers, kids, we all bought books. That was the cool thing, because they were only like $3-4. You could get a whole book.
Yeah, thanks to freaking R.L. Stein, man. Kids were, and actually, because of movies like Jurassic Park, people were jumping on books again. Yeah, people were jumping on.
Books were big.
And the bookstores that you found at the mall were the ones to go to, and
then you even had like, if you bought a certain number of books, you can get a free book.
Yeah,
Some of them did that
was a cool one. And of course, even for me, I mean, the toy stores were epic. KB, Toy Works was another one.
It was a pretty cool stuff.
Yeah, I mean, KB was like the smaller one, but the one that in Sawgrass was like, when it just opened, was like Toy Works, and that sucker was epic. That was like
we didn't have that.
Yeah, I think I don't remember.
But there was all these things you could see.
Yeah.
There was the stores that you never buy anything, but you always are entertained by, like Brookstone, which had all the little gadgets that made no sense, but you always are entertained by them. And it was just, you just looked and you learned about new stuff.
Yeah.
And it was just fun.
And I think that's the heart and soul of why I love Chopping Mall so much, is that it does kind of resurrect, and because this movie actually was made during the time when malls were kind of at their heyday, or kind of like at the rise of their popularity, it does kind of invoke that sense of, man, everyone just, and it's actually, I will say, the opening credits were awesome for that respect, because, and yeah, like you said, the music is great, it kind of perfectly complemented it, but you had this incredible montage of all this crazy activity all happening just all at once in this location.
I feel it actually showed the accurate portrayal of malls. Like, that is how malls were. You had the food source, and the thing is, all the teenagers worked there.
Yeah.
And, I mean, I admit I never worked in a mall as a teenager myself. I kind of wish I had. I did as a college student.
Mm-hmm.
And, you had you remembered the certain customers. You got to know people in the other stores.
Yeah.
And, that was the thing. Or you got to become friends with, like, the movie theater people. Because I worked at Planet X, which was actually later bought by GameStop.
Yeah.
So, GameStop.
Yeah.
And, I mean, I was there during the PS2 was released. But we made friends with the movie theater. And when Tomb Raider came out, we loaned them our Dreamcast so that they could use Tomb Raider, the game, or PlayStation, whatever.
Yeah.
To promote the movie. And they actually gave us a free screening of the movie.
Nice.
As a thank you.
Yeah. I remember for me, like, during that time I was working at Blockbuster, I was starting to get a little disenchanted with it. So I actually tried to apply for Specs Music. as well, because that was another store that to me just like that had everything. It wasn't just music, man. That was when they had like the incredible movie selection.
Yeah, a lot of stores were branching out at the time to kind of like all forms of media, not just one.
Exactly.
Like Suncoast was like movies, but then they started doing toys and.
Yeah, Suncoast is where I got my Doctor Who fix for
Suncoast
a time.
has
Yeah,
some good shit.
They
my
really
first
did.
DVD I ever bought in my life was from Suncoast.
Yeah,
I remember it, and I remember spending way too much for it.
I was able to get my VHS of Shock Treatment through Suncoast.
Yeah, Suncoast was good.
Yeah, Suncoast was pretty great. There's a hope to me one day that I think people will start to become very disenchanted with the idea of all these brick and mortar stores closing, and just I think people will remember how great it was to get the fuck out of their house. And
I mean, there's a weird shift going on now where people are bigger on small businesses. It's just get out of the house.
Yeah.
And, I mean, things are expensive, so getting places is rough and all that. I get it, but you know, you gotta get out. You gotta get out.
Yeah. Now it seems like we're off topic here, but really we're talking. It's all really kind of part of really why Chopping Mall to me. I think that's another reason why the movie has prevailed over the years is the fact that it's a movie that does kind of represent that the joy of that consumer stage. Yeah, I mean, you could call it superficial, but for us, it was that place where people would congregate and socialize, but also, yeah, it was just that wonderful place where people could actually interact with other people. And Chopping Mall is a great little slice of life. In a way, it's kind of a slice of life, which is funny because it's about killer robots. And
Well, that aside.
Yeah, with that aside, and even with all that, the movie's credit, it still has an air of wit to the movie. There is like some.
It's a funny as hell movie.
That's the other thing is, I have to say, it is a film that knows full well that it's an absurd premise, and I even like how there's even some great, very tongue-in-cheek lines that even address the absurdity of the situation. I forget which character. I think it was one of the women. They actually say like, "I'm sorry, I tend to get a little wired when I'm trapped in a mall in the middle of the night being hunted down by killer robots."
Yeah, no, they're self-aware. The movie is a very simple, hunter-prey type of storyline with robots versus teenagers. But it's the culture of the mall and the setting, and why it's happening there. That's what makes this movie above your standard issue.
Yeah,
robots attack. How many movies do we have robots attacking people? I mean, it's also modern. It's not in the future. It is 1980, whatever.
Yeah. Because in the 80s, we were completely obsessed with the latest thing, the latest technology. Yeah, because
automation.
Yeah, we were obsessed with automation. So the movie also... So as much as it is a great representation of mall culture, it also was a great satire of all the things we were obsessed with at that time.
And the thing is, if they had just not made these robots and just had Paul Blart or whatever, things would have been fine. And it's kind of showing, like, the negatives of automation, which, I mean, we could argue, the negatives of AI, you know, and that it's flawed, it's never going to have the human element, and shit can hit the fan.
That's a really good point, actually. The idea that this movie actually even kind of called that shit that we were...
I mean, they've been calling out that shit for years.
Well, ever since Terminator, are you kidding me?
I mean, well, even before that. That machines can never replicate the human condition, and they still cannot.
Yeah.
AI will never be any good with
not when the hands look like this.
Not with regards to the arts. It can help with like analytics as a tool. It cannot help with the human condition, which is required for all forms of art.
Exactly.
Period.
Contrary to what your asshole Republican senators will say, art is still fucking important, people.
Yeah.
And the human spirit is the kind of the fuel of that. So this movie actually, you're right, is a really good representation of why you probably should never replace the human element, especially in essential day-to-day tasks.
Well, fun fact. So human element. So I know so many people, a lot of boomers, a lot of Gen X love to mock people for, you're not writing cursive anymore. They don't teach cursive. Okay, the reason why not is because machines can't read it. Machines are reading like when you write an envelope or you documentation. Machines can't register the words because cursive is not able to be read by a machine.
Yeah.
It's not humans that can't do it. We can. If you're not chicken scratch. But the point is that machines are being held as the readers. So I had to explain that to people, and they're like, we should be writing in cursive. Yeah, machines can't read it. That's what the focus is on. That's why it's being kind of phased out, which also the reason for it even existing doesn't really matter anymore.
Yeah,
there is no actual legitimate reason for it to exist, but it is machines that are actually making it less relevant.
Yeah, I remember, God, so many people in elementary school, everyone kept like forcing us to fucking...
we were trained into writing it. And
Writing
I
cursive.
never could figure out why it mattered.
Yeah,
They never tell you why it mattered.
The only excuse I got was, it's because it's a proper way of writing. I'm like,
as long as I can read the damn word. And I read documents all the time, and when there's some cursive chicken scratch, I'm like, even I feel like the computer's going, what the fuck is this shit? But the thing is automation is involved. AI, computers, your letters when you send them to the post office, those are read by machines for the address. That's what you have to write clearly. What you're wanting to send to. That's why they have to do the barcodes, is because it's machines reading it.
So having giant robots with lasers, probably not
it's just a step up.
Probably not the best to use when for your security. And even then, and if you must insist, don't give them kill lasers and C4.
I don't know. Yeah, that's a little. The C4, like the lasers are bad enough, but like the C4, I'm like, what the fuck do you think these guys are going up against? Like,
yeah.
What is in this mall that's that desperate to protect?
I mean, there are guns in the mall. I mean, there is some malls that actually have...
It's fucking Reagan Republic.
It's Reagan era mall.
Reagan era, they think everything... Yeah, whatever.
Yeah. Actually, and one thing we also should... I have to give love to her just because she is freaking amazing. Kelly Maroney as Allison. Another example to me of the unsung horror heroine. Like, she's one that I really think deserves a lot of love in her own right. Kelly Maroney just adds so much natural charm to the character, but I love the way the movie very, very gradually reveals that she actually has an inner badass that she doesn't really let loose to people, except for a great moment where everyone else is like trying to shoot the propane tank on top of the elevator, and she's like, oh fuck, and she grabs the gun and takes it down in one shot, and she says, Dad was a Marine. But yeah, and I love the fact that she is the one, like, at the finale, and just your quick thinking, and this is kind of a drawn out, as they quote, Final Girl circuit, where she has to hide in the pet shop and be covered in spiders. Now you scoff. It's like, what kind of mall would have spiders, snakes, and all that? I've seen pet shops that had those.
Yeah, I know, but it feels a little silly.
Well, the fact that all of those cages got busted. I love how specifically it's those animals.
It's not kittens.
It's not kittens.
Puppies.
Oh my god. If you were
that would have been horrible.
That would have been you would have been dead.
Or like mice or something. No, we'll go with the snakes, which are not as common as you think in a pet shop. Or spiders, not that common. Like, pet shops, they have like mice, they have sometimes puppies, sometimes cats, whatever, but like it just was like, really, I guess it's just to make it creepy, I guess. Yeah,
just Jim Stafford's worst nightmare, but she took it like a champ, and I gotta give it, she kills the final killbot in the most clever way possible by spilling a shit ton of paint. And I was like wondering, what's the deal with the paint? And then I realized when the killbot goes in there, they actually have Jim Wynorski very competently has like a bunch of shots of the treads, and you see that the treads are having trouble running on the paint. I was like, oh, that's why. But she was also throwing flammable liquid in the same mix so she could launch it. And of course, probably one of my favorite heroine to villain fuck you is when she throws back the have a nice day.
I mean, come on, it's she had to.
Oh yeah, and she says it with just like the I'm always a big fan of when you throw back the villain shade and you say it in a way that's pretty much the same way as saying fuck you, and she does it and blows the shit out of them, and it's pretty amazing.
The villain death line is always one of the best things. It can be even as punny as it could be. You have to have a good villain death line.
Yeah. Oh, that and this one definitely did. And for extra measure, she survives, and Ferdy, her nerdy Ferdy, miraculously survives despite a pretty horrible head injury.
He's probably got a concussion.
He's probably got a concussion.
He's gonna need to go to the hospital.
Yeah, I think so. So, actually, as a fun little thing to think about, so who's going to be held legally actionable for that entire situation? Like,
I think the creators of the bots, because they did not have a surge protector on the damn thing.
Clearly not.
and they went haywire. Obviously, never had a testing phase to make sure that this didn't happen. So
Yeah.
I would say those who made the bots and had them commissioned.
Yeah.
The mall owners for commissioning them might also be liable.
I would definitely say I think Allison and Ferdy would definitely have good grounds to sue them just on account of the fact that they invested in this clearly unreliable security system.
I mean, you could argue that those who commissioned the droids to sue those who created them, but you also, there could be they could have rush jobbed it. They could have, we don't know there is no backstory to these things being made. They're made, and that's that. We don't know who made them. They weren't made badly, to our knowledge. They just got literally struck by. They also could claim the act of God. That is a trick, which is act of God is something like nature affecting something, and you can't really predict it. Lightning, they would probably use the act of God is that the lightning strike caused a haywire, and there's nothing that could have been done.
Yeah.
And they'll just brush it off. Or they might pay them off just to shut them up.
That is also a
Which
very
is
real
probably
possibility. That's actually very possible as well. Oh wow, that was a good route to take on this sucker. All right, so
I work in insurance,
you
so I know things.
They do know things, and I trust the things they know. Absolutely. So that was pretty great, actually. Thank you for that. All right, so to go ahead and round up, let's go ahead and do our top kill in Chopping Mall.
It's the head explosion.
Susie Slayer's head explosion.
Yeah, I mean that's. Come on.
Yeah, that's a pretty good one. I mean, I don't know if we take robots into the equation, but
Yeah, you can.
Okay, then for me it is pretty much, because to me it's peak badassery is
The final
the
bot.
the final one. I think just because it's Kelly Maroney just being a freaking boss.
That's fair.
Like she is. So I think that for me. I mean, if we had to take robots out of the equation, I suppose.
Dick Miller.
Yeah. Just Dick Miller.
Just because Dick Miller.
I
mean, it's Dick Miller.
Yeah, and just all the little Cormanisms in the film, even to the point where at the restaurant that they work in, and I've never known a restaurant to have movie posters up, or even in general, that restaurant does not look like the kind of restaurant that would have waitresses, which is kind of funny. I've never seen one like that. But the fact that they had movie posters of all Corman's films, including stuff like Galaxy of Terror and Forbidden World and Dead
why
Stuff.
not?
Why not? I don't know.
Why not?
I don't know. I mean, it would be fun to have a theater that just shows nothing but Roger Corman. Lord knows
That'd
he made.
be badass.
Yeah, that'd be amazing, just because if you looked at that man's resume, that man has hundreds of films under his belt.
Yeah, you would never go out of. You would have so many films.
So much to go through, and man lived a pretty damn full life. I mean, 98 years old he died, and man,
And he was still working
kicking,
all the way to the end.
still working, which is, that's kind of just something to value, is just the idea that so many people talk about retirement, and it's like, but then you hear but
I mean, I get if retirement's good for you, but like some people, literally Roger Corman was one of them, just didn't want to stop working. And I mean, that respect. It's not that he didn't have to keep working. He chose to. He wanted to.
Yeah.
And I kind of feel like I have a thing about retirement is that I feel like it causes you to become complacent, and you're not focusing unless you've got something you're focused on. Working gives you focus. Not saying that you have to work to pay for your life, but work in the sense of it keeps you alive. It keeps you wanting to focus on something, and it keeps you going longer than if you just stop. And then, like, what are you going to do? Every day's nothing, or what?
Yeah, exactly. All right, so that right there is Chopping Mall. Currently, this one is still streaming everywhere. I don't know a streaming service where it isn't featured on there. I mean, though, big shock, I'm going to recommend you watch the episode with that Joe Bob did on it, because it also had Kelly Maroney give a fantastic interview on it. So that is definitely my top. And that is it for us with Discomfort Flicks of 2024. So what kind of theme would you want us to go for next year? Leave it in the comments. We will take it under advisement. As far as recommendations go, I think I already told you all how awesome VHS Beyond was. That one was pretty fucking amazing. Right now I'm in the middle of watching a couple other things. I did watch the Terminator 2 Aliens knockoff by Bruno Mattei, Shocking Dark, which was kind of fucking hilarious. Oh, it is shameless There are scenes literally copied and pasted from Aliens. It's
That's sad.
it's hilarious how shameless it is. So that one's fun. Right now, I just got started upon the request of my friend Ivatrees Littles. I've just started watching Microwave Massacre. Thus far, I'm only like 20 minutes in, and I'm shocked that I didn't see the Troma logo at the top of it.
Well, you got Terrifier 3 coming out soon.
Terrifier 3 is coming out, and, I definitely had to reschedule my screening, but I will vow that by the next time we record, I will have my thoughts on that sucker. So, in the meantime, for everyone, stay tuned for Halloween Day. We will have our Halloween 2 commentary coming out, and we actually do have some holiday plans coming up for Christmas.
There's a couple anniversaries.
Yeah.
Some major Christmas movies.
Major Christmas horror films, and we actually do have... I do have one planned for Thanksgiving involving one of our favorite Thanksgiving slashers.
There's only 2.
That is enough to tell you which one it is.
Which one it might be, or
might
which one
be,
it's not.
which one is not.
There's literally only 2. Okay, no, wait.
3
maybe
if you,
3
if you count Pilgrim.
Oh, I was thinking Thanksgiving.
Okay, well, yeah, Thanksgiving as well. I was thinking Pilgrim, but I mean that's another one. But in any case, but no, there's only one.
There's only one
that deserves. I mean, the other one got plenty of love and attention last year.
No,
we're talking about the other one.
We're talking about the one that's relevant to where we live.
Exactly. We're gonna let you do the math on that shit, but suffice to say,
it's not
cranberry sauce. So, if you are interested in delving deep into the dark bowels of whether or not it's cranberry sauce, just ask yourself the simple question: what's in the podcast? Thank you for joining us on this edition of What's in the Podcast. If you find yourself hungry for more deep cuts into the gloriously morbid and macabre, you can also find us on TikTok, Blue Sky, and YouTube at Narcotic Casserole. You can also follow us on Instagram at Narcotic Casserole 25. Also on Twitter. Yes, Twitter. Elon can suck it. At Narcotic Casser 1. NARCOTICCASSER 1. Follow us if you dare.